Before I start this video, let me first just apologise for not using an aura on Toledo, and also thank you to the Necromorph Killer, cool name by the way, for pointing this out. I put the aura on now. This should be the last video where you see an auraless Toledo, but if it happens again, just yell at me, please. Anyways, welcome to Collection Log. I started a new account and now you get to deal with the consequences. Let's get into it. So for the first week of August, I was on holiday, and as much as I would have loved to take my computer on holiday with me, sand, water and desktop computers don't mix. I would say it was nice to touch grass, but it was really just a lot of sand. I don't really like sand. I like beaches, but not sand. Does that make sense? Oh, and I also caught a cold, but I wasn't going to let that or the immensely unusual British heat stop me from collecting. I started doing weekly raids to make sure I was using my time efficiently. It's every Saturday at 4 PM server time for anyone interested in joining. When I started doing the runs, I did a lot of Molten Core because I was absolutely determined to get the Eye of Sulfuras. I mean, Toledo's a blacksmith for a reason. Give me that eye. Oh, there it is. I didn't see that coming. Getting the Eye of Sulfuras changed everything, because having the eye meant it was possible to craft sulfuras, except there were some small issues. The first one being, I needed to get the recipe to craft the sulfuran hammer to combine it with the Eye of Sulfuras. It wasn't actually that difficult. All you have to do is take a sulfuran ingot, of which I had like 6, to Loctos, Dark Bargainer. He gives you a quest and a contract. You give him an ingot and a signed contract, he gives you the plans for the sulfuran hammer. Done. The really awkward bit was finding him. I'm not very good at Blackrock depths. I always get lost, and I can never seem to find the key to Shadowforge City, but I followed a guide and was able to complete all of Blackrock depths with no major issues. I also spent a good while figuring out exactly what I needed to complete the craft, and because I really like a challenge, I wanted to do it without buying anything from the auction house. So, as it turns out, I need 8 sulfuran ingots, 20 dark iron bars, 10 Blood of the Mountain, and 50 Arcanite bars. And I need Toledo to be a level 300 blacksmith. I thought the hardest part of this was going to be the Blood of the Mountain because it's a rare drop in Molten Core, but as it turns out, the Arcanite bars might actually be harder. See, I need an alchemist to transmute thorium bars and arcane crystals into Arcanite. That means I need 50 arcane crystals, and the arcane crystals are also rare drops. But I need 50 of them. 50! That's insane. So anyways, this is where Mudra comes into play. I'd already started leveling Mudra for the sake of picking locks, and as luck would have it, I wanted Mudra to be an alchemist because it seemed to make sense for a rogue to be an alchemist. I could just imagine Mudra making her own poisons, it just feels right, you know? I figured I'd level up Mudra through dungeons whilst also gathering herbs and completing quests in low level torrent areas, and by that I mean Mulgore. Once Mudra is all leveled up, I'll have 2 characters to run raids on, which means I can get the necessary materials that little bit faster. Speaking of running raids, as I said earlier, I changed my plan. See, before I was doing Molten Core, Onyxia's Lair, Runes of Anchorage, and Temple of Anchorage in that order. But as it turns out, Blackrock Depths has a lot of the things I need, like yummy dark iron deposits, which when mined can drop Blood of the Mountain. So I'm now going to make sure I run Blackrock Depths at least once a week. And then because there's a handy dandy portal right near the end, I can move swiftly on to Molten Core, which also has dark iron deposits, and the left bindings of the Windseeker, but we're not worried about that right now. After Molten Core, we're also going to make sure to do Blackwing Lair each week because it's like right there, but also because you can find sulfuran ingots in there. There's also a chance of getting a yellow sack of gems, which is surprisingly likely to have arcane crystals in there. Then we're also going to do Onyxia's Lair, which isn't exactly going to help with sulfuras, but I want them out. I mean, why else would you do Onyxia's Lair? You could do it for the transmogs. Actually, fun fact about that, Raider.io does weekly transmog competitions in their Discord. I'm planning on entering these with Toledo to set myself the ultimate challenge of creating a transmog that actually fits the theme, with barely any transmogs to use. I figure, if I win, the prize can go towards my collection lot journey, and I don't have to drop hundreds on store pets and mounts. Where was I? Right, Onyxia's Lair. So after that, we do the Runes of Anchorage and the Temple of Anchorage. This one's actually worth doing because the Anubiseth defenders sometimes do a little poop when you kill them, and mining that poop can get you an arcane crystal. It's a less than 1% drop chance, but it's still worth trying. Toledo's done a lot of Anchorage, so I've just about managed to get most of the Paladin quests done. So it's time to turn my focus to Mudra for the rogue quest. The only issue is Mudra doesn't know how to mine, so no arcane crystals for her. But the perks of having alts is both characters can run the raid, so at least Toledo can pick up the slack there. This month, I also finished up the Red Ridge quest. Turns out, that quest where you free prisoners from black dragons and then blow everything up isn't that painful when you're majorly overleveled. I'm sorry, Red Ridge. I was far too harsh on you. And I genuinely can't believe it's taken me 4 episodes to get here, but as I said in episode 1, I'm off to Duskwood next. But before I did that, I also found out that the Spirit of Ekara questline was up. This was a pretty huge deal, because it's only up for a small 2-week window every 6 months, and I didn't want to miss out. But I also didn't want to just abandon the classic content I was already doing, so I let Twitch chat vote on it. You guys are far too nice. You actually voted for me to go get the Spirit of Ekaro. For those that are unaware, it's an archaeology based quest that you can do with any level of archaeology. You pick up the quest in Dalaran, which sends you to High Mountain, and then from there it's just a lot of digging to get 600 fragments of Ekaro's bones. Thankfully, all of the dig sites will be in the same zone, so it's literally just fly, dig, fly, dig, fly, dig, until you're done. I literally did this in a few hours whilst chatting with the community about our predictions for the future of World of Warcraft. Speaking of, make sure to tell me what you're most excited for in Midnight in the comments down below. I then did all my quests in Duskwood, which was relatively painless, and then I was about to head to Northern Stranglethorn, but Twitch chat reminded me that I had not 100%ed Stormwind Stockades. This is something that I had actually done on my original account, and when I looked into it, I realised there wasn't much to collect from here, and I was already nearly halfway done. After 3 or 4 runs, it was basically done, with the exception of 2 pairs of pants and a quest. And as it turns out, the one quest I was missing is actually a Horde-only quest called Grant Me Revenge. Looks like it's time for the return of Mudra. Again, Mudra completed the quest with no issues other than an insanely long queue time, and Toledo was able to pop in and steal Hog's pants from him, meaning Stormwind Stockade is officially 100% completed. That's 1 dungeon down and far too many still to go. We also had free t-shirt day this month. Now, I'm going for all source IDs, so it was really important to me that I got all of them. All the things list 23 shirts that can be collected from the entertainers in Stormwind and Orgrimmar. So whilst waiting for my Stockade queue, I ran around chasing the Orgrimmar entertainer. Let me just say now, this is much easier as an Alliance player. The Stormwind entertainer gently places the t-shirts down on the ground whilst the Orgrimmar entertainer is just straight up yeeting them into the water. Seriously, he has one heck of an arm on him, but I got the shirts from the entertainer and then flew all around Azeroth, stealing some mage portals to areas I hadn't unlocked yet, and I got several other t-shirts from some apparently socially anxious NPCs that keep hiding in obscure places. Why are you behind a tree? I was 1 loop of Shatrath away from putting in a missing persons report. As the end of the month was rapidly approaching, I also made sure to finish the Traveller's Log, which for this month involved completing quests that granted experience, killing dungeon bosses, and participating in the Eastern Kingdoms Cup. All of this made Mudra the perfect candidate. She could complete quests whilst queuing for dungeons, and once enough dungeon bosses had been killed, she could switch to skywriding races, which also had quests attached to them. So we completed the quest for the Eastern Kingdoms Cup, and not only that, despite getting stuck on lots of trees, I got silver, or sometimes even gold, for all of the races, giving us a new achievement to add to our collection. By the way, if anyone's really struggling with skywriding, I highly encourage you to get the Dragon Rider add-on. It displays your speed, making it easier to identify if you're slowing down, speeding up, or already at the maximum speed. Plus, it blends in seamlessly with the default UI. And as always, we end this episode with a return to the trading post. Now, I must mention, this month I had an unusually large amount of tenders to spend. That's because I pre-ordered the Epic Edition of Midnight, giving me an extra 2,000 tenders to spend. I wanted the early access to housing anyway, as it's something I'm really looking forward to, but the additional mounts, pets, transmogs, and tenders really sold this for me. We will be sticking to Classic as much as possible, so it doesn't have a huge impact on the Collection Lock series, but because the pre-order guarantees beta access, we will also be looking at the beta live over on Twitch, so make sure to follow me at twitch.tv/ArchMaysar for a sneak peek at midnight. Now, back to the trading post. With my 3,000 tenders, I managed to get 3 mounts: the Wailing Banshee's Charger from July, the Corcoran Warsaber, and the Sentinel Warwolf. I also got the pet Wargly and a bunch of new transmogs, including some super cute skirts and some sick eye patches. We're ending this month at 2.99%, And next month, we'll be continuing our ultimate challenge, crafting Sulfuras, Hand of Ragnaros. There's a lot to do, and with me trying not to use the auction house, it's turning out to be incredibly difficult, but I'm sure we can do it. I mean, surely it won't take more than a month to craft, right? Right? Oh god.